Employees are horrified!
Employees are horrified!
Our text used for genocide!
I got work to do.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to Working People, a podcast about the lives, jobs, dreams, and struggles of the working class today. Working People is a proud member of the Labor Radio Podcast Network and is brought to you in partnership with In These Times magazine and the Real News Network. This show is produced by Jules Taylor and made possible by the support of listeners like you. My name is Maximilian Alvarez, and today we're going to take you to the heart of one of the most important labor struggles happening in the country right now, which should be getting a lot more attention than it's been getting. Tech workers at the heart of one of the biggest and most powerful tech companies in the world are revolting at Microsoft, taking bold, brave, continuing and escalating protest actions in solidarity with Palestinians facing genocide and in protest of Microsoft's contracts with the Israeli military to provide tech that Israel uses to surveil, kill, and retroactively justify the killing of Palestinians. On August 19th, current and former tech workers at Microsoft, along with community supporters, established an encampment at Microsoft's headquarters in Redmond, Washington, very much inspired by the student Palestine solidarity encampments that we saw on campuses across the country and around the world last year. Just before 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday, August 19th, members of the No Azure for Apartheid Coalition walked out to Microsoft's East Campus Plaza to establish their liberated zone, renaming the plaza the Martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza. As the No Azure for Apartheid Coalition stated in a press release on the day the encampment began, quote, "This action is in response to Microsoft's ongoing partnership with the Israeli military and the recent news of Microsoft technology being used to surveil, starve, and kill Palestinians. This action marks the biggest escalation targeting Microsoft following multiple investigations that expose the company's deep ties to the Israeli military. Recent reporting by The Guardian and 972 News revealed Microsoft cloud storage services are being used to surveil Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank by collecting and storing recordings of millions of mobile phone calls and texts made each day by Palestinians. The investigations included testimonies of how the surveillance data is being used to directly target Palestinians in Gaza and even retroactively justify extrajudicial killings in the West Bank." End quote. And if you guys haven't read the reporting that they're talking about from The Guardian and 972 News, then you really need to read it. And we're going to link to it in the show notes. But just to give you a taste, the authors write, quote, "One afternoon in late 2021, Microsoft's chief executive, Satya Nadella, met with the commander of Israel's military surveillance agency, Unit 8200. On the spy chief's agenda, moving vast amounts of top-secret intelligence material into the U.S. company's cloud. Meeting at Microsoft's headquarters near Seattle, the spy master Yossi Sariel won Nadella's support for a plan that would grant Unit 8200 access to a customized and segregated area within Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. Armed with Azure's near-limitless storage capacity, Unit 8200 began building a powerful new mass surveillance tool, a sweeping and intrusive system that collects and stores recordings of millions of mobile phone calls made each day by Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. According to 3 Unit 8200 sources, the cloud-based storage platform has facilitated the preparation of deadly airstrikes and has shaped military operations in Gaza and the West Bank. Files suggest that by July this year, 11,500 terabytes of Israeli military data, the equivalent to approximately 200 million hours of audio, was held in Microsoft's Azure servers in the Netherlands, while a smaller portion was stored in Ireland. End quote. Now, Microsoft denied any wrongdoing, of course, and has since launched a, quote, urgent external inquiry into allegations Israel's military surveillance agency has used the company's technology to facilitate the mass surveillance of Palestinians, as The Guardian also reports. But the point is, this is exactly what current and former tech workers and community members with the No Azure for Apartheid coalition are fighting against. This is why they've been putting their bodies, safety, and their jobs on the line, following their conscience and doing whatever they can do to stop the horrors of Israel's genocidal war on Palestine and ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. And that's also why, after police and company security dispersed the encampment on Tuesday, August 19th, threatening everyone there with arrest, current and former tech workers returned around noon on Wednesday, August 20th, to reestablish their liberated zone. Over the course of the next hour, things got increasingly tense with, Microsoft security and Redmond PD cops surrounding the encampment. And Washington State Patrol, Bellevue Police, and Kirkland Police were also reportedly there assisting. I definitely saw some of them. Eventually, Redmond PD officers moved in to violently dismantle the encampment and arrest 20 members of the coalition. Now, I was literally one of the only journalists there on the ground at Microsoft on both Tuesday and Wednesday, reporting for The Real News. I filmed every second of the police dismantling the encampment and the moments leading up to it and the moments after it. Now, police did issue multiple dispersal orders to the encampment, informing members that they were trespassing on private property and would be subject to arrest if they did not leave. That is true. Coalition members did use some tables and chairs from the Microsoft courtyard to construct makeshift barricades around the encampment, and red paint was poured on the ground and around the Microsoft sign in the plaza. That is also true. However, police have claimed that protesters became, quote, aggressive, and a spokesperson for Microsoft said that protesters, quote, harassed others in the plaza, and even said that the company would, quote, take clear steps to address unlawful actions that damage property, disrupt business, or that threaten and harm others, end quote. Now, the implication that the No Azure for Apartheid encampment was threatening or harming others during the action is categorically false. Again, I was standing like 10 feet away the entire time, and I saw absolutely nothing like that. But you really don't have to just take my word for it. Because I was there filming, you can see for yourself. We published my entire uninterrupted 37-minute shot of everything that went down on the Real News YouTube channel. And you can find the link to that in the show notes for this episode. And in this episode, you're also going to hear what it sounded like in the thick of the action. You'll hear speeches from tech workers and community members on the first and second days of the encampment and in the immediate aftermath after cops busted up the encampment. You'll also hear some exclusive interviews that I did on the ground with then current Microsoft workers Nisreen Jaradat and Julia Shawn. However, I say then current because since I got back from Washington, the coalition has continued to take escalating actions, including occupying executives' offices at company headquarters last week. But Microsoft has also been ramping up its punitive responses. Julius and Nisreen have both been fired since I last saw them. And they are not the only workers who have been fired. In the next episode, we're going to speak with No Azure for Apartheid members so that we can give y'all an update on where things currently stand, what's been happening over the past 2 weeks, and what you can do to show solidarity with these fired workers. But in this episode, you'll hear what I heard when I was on the ground when the actions kicked off. If you want to help now, please share this episode with everyone that you can. Lift up these brave voices and listen to what they're saying. Don't let their actions and don't let the genocide that they are trying to stop be invisibilized and forgotten. If you want to get real-time updates, you can also follow the coalition's Instagram account, which we've linked to in the show notes as well. All right, with all of that context up front, buckle up, guys, and let us take you to the front lines of the No Azure for Apartheid struggle at Microsoft's headquarters in Redmond, Washington.
We are bringing the movement to the heart of this campus because this profiteering company is sitting on mounds of hundreds of thousands of Palestinian corpses. Shame!
Shame!
We refuse to allow business as usual in the face of this genocide. We in the face of the erasure and the extermination of the Palestinian people. Today, we choose to disobey, to revolt, to rise up against a world, a company, and a war machine who insist on killing as many Palestinians as they can. This is a reminder to us all why we are here today. We are here because over 22 months of genocide, Israel, powered by Microsoft, has been killing, starving, maiming Palestinian children every single hour. Make no mistake, Microsoft is an active partner in the genocide. Microsoft, as we speak, is hosting storage data collected through mass surveillance of Palestinians that is used to target and kill Palestinians in Gaza, that is used to enforce the apartheid system in the West Bank, and even retroactively justify extrajudicial killings of Palestinians. That is not a neutral act. That is an active political choice every single second to be complicit in the mass murder of Palestinians. Instead of listening to the conscience and the morality of its workers who have been sounding the alarm for over a year and a half, instead of listening to the over 2,000 employees who have signed the No Azure for Apartheid petition, instead of refusing to collaborate with the Zionist Israeli military, Microsoft instead chose to repress its workers, to fire them, to brutalize them, and to dox them and intimidate them. I, like many others, thought that working for Microsoft was the opportunity of a lifetime. I did my internship here my junior year of college, and I joined this company as the first job out of college. I worked 3 years on Azure, not knowing that my labor was being used to actively facilitate the murder of my people. The only honor I have in any affiliation with Microsoft is the honor and the pride in being able to join workers, community members, and people of conscience from all around the world to establish this historic liberated zone. There will come a time when everyone will have been against this. There will come a day when Microsoft brags that this action took place on its campus. Today, Microsoft brags that it divested from apartheid South Africa in 1986. There will come a day when Microsoft brags about how in 2025 they divested from apartheid Israel. When that day comes, the executives with blood-soaked hands deserve no credit. They deserve shame, accountability, and the eternal haunting of the screams of the thousands of Palestinian children they massacred. The the only honor will be for the workers, former workers, and community members who are putting their jobs, their livelihood, their immigration status, and their lives on the line to stand on the right side of history. You do not have to be on the side of the genocide profiteering executives. You do not have to comply. You do not have to listen to their orders. I'm talking to you, every single one of you sitting there having lunch right now. I am talking to you, the security guards in blue vests. I am talking to you. You do not have to comply. You do not have to listen to the orders of your masters. You do not have to shut down this encampment. You do not have to treat us like we are the evil ones for trying to stop a genocide. You have the choice to refuse. You have the choice to listen to your heart, not to your bosses. You have the choice to be on the right side of history. You have the choice to join us right here, right now, in the heart and Microsoft liberated zone. And lastly, a message to the Palestinian people. To the mom who couldn't starve her dying baby until they died in her arms. To the mother of Hind Rajab, to the orphan children, to Shaban Ad-Dalu and his family, to the Hinds and the Sidras, and the Asils and the Asirs and the Yusuf and the Shabans. We see you. We hear you. We feel you. We rage for you and we revolt for you. We refuse to be complicit in your murder. We refuse to be party to the crimes of your genocide. We choose to revolt against the forces that exploit our labor and our tax dollars to facilitate the worst moral tragedy of our lifetime. And to the Palestinian people, we stand here today not as allies, not simply in solidarity with you, but as accomplices in your righteous fight for liberation, in your non-stop struggle for freedom. And we will not stop fighting alongside you until you have the same dignity and humanity that every single Palestinian deserves, and until every single inch of your homeland is free. Long live the liberated zone! Long live the Intifada! Fuck Microsoft! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Microsoft, have some shame!
Hi everyone, thanks for having me here. My name is Julius Sean, and I've been a Microsoft engineer for almost 5 years. When I joined 5 years ago, I did not know at all what I was signing up for. I did not want to work for a weapons manufacturer. I believe deeply that all people deserve the right to be free, to live in safety, to have safety in their community, and to have justice. When I learned that Microsoft, reported by AP News, The Guardian, and 972 magazine, that Microsoft Azure and AI systems were being used by Israeli military to conduct mass surveillance on Palestinians to determine which mothers, which families, which children to bomb, I was disgusted. I was horrified that even though my work did not contribute directly to these services, I was being paid by the money that Israel pays Microsoft for these contracts. Regardless of your beliefs, regardless of whether or not your work today actually supports Israel, know that Microsoft's money does include blood money. There are so many families, so many wonderful people that I've met here, and it breaks my heart to think that the only reason we are here is because we were lucky enough to be born on the right side of the world, one where we received just the fortune to live in safety. Palestinians have been living in a concentration camp for countless years. They have no safety. They have no ability to speak up. Microsoft systems are heavily used to determine targets. They are used to scrape data on millions of Palestinian phone calls. There are over 11,000 terabytes of recorded recorded Palestinian phone calls and text messages in Microsoft storage systems. It breaks my heart to know that no matter what I was doing at Microsoft, that I would be complicit in this machine. That while I work on printing, all the Israeli infrastructure involved in planning attacks and strikes on Palestine would in some way involve my work. Printing is just a small piece of that. I'm sure whatever you work on, whether it's storage, an AI system, in some way or another, your work helps to support this company, which helps to support us and our ability to take contracts from entities like the Israeli military.
That's why we must remain grounded. We must remain grounded by an understanding of what's happening in Gaza, because Gaza frees us. Hundreds of thousands of Gazans have been killed as a result of the current iterations of Israel's ongoing Nakba, with the destruction of nearly all of Gaza's housing, hospitals, schools, infrastructures. Thousands more remain under the rubble. Over 90% of Gaza's entire population has been displaced, forced between refugee camps, aid centers, and supposedly safe zones, all of which end up as targets of Israel's carpet bombing campaign. Shame! We have seen families unable to mourn their loved ones, entire families murdered heartlessly, and countless Palestinians terrified of how many more they will lose.
From the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever. We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Stop arming Israel now!
The liberated zone here is born out of desperation, extreme urgency, and incredible grief. For 683 days, we have all witnessed the Holocaust of our lifetime live streamed to our phones. We've seen corporations who benefit from the economy of occupation and apartheid morph into an economy of genocide as our tech billionaire executives that run them continue to profit more and more off of the surveillance of, targeting of, bombing of, and now forced starvation of Palestinian children, mothers, and fathers alike. Shame. The militarized and violent response to our peaceful protesting that we've witnessed both today and yesterday is a reflection of the fact that Microsoft is an extension of the U.S. imperial machine, driven by colonialism, powered by surveillance, suppression, and state violence. Yesterday, Microsoft responded to our peaceful protests with police force, showing up with weapons, threatening arrest, and barricading us. Let it be known that this response from Microsoft is not new. Microsoft workers who have spoken out in solidarity with Palestine or engaged leadership to get answers on Microsoft's complicity have constantly and consistently been met with suppression, retaliation, and violence. Almost 1 year ago, Microsoft fired 2 workers for organizing a peaceful, beautiful vigil honoring the martyrs who were murdered by Israel in the genocide.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Just 4 months ago, 2 more workers were terminated for confronting Microsoft executives and the founder for their war profiteering.
Folks that way you can round them up.
And just 3 months ago, Microsoft deployed deployed chemical weapons on current workers, former workers, and community members rallying outside of their conference. In the past 2 months, Microsoft suspended 2 workers for simply sending out emails. Countless others have been suppressed by Microsoft leadership and executives, being targeted in layoffs and pushed out by management.
Talk to them, see if they can.
What is this? Advancements in surveillance and suppression and silencing is Microsoft's real contribution to the tech world. Though their attempts to make you believe that they empower every person and every organization around the world to achieve more, although those attempts are plenty, it turns out there's a footnote that every person and every organization doesn't include Palestinians, Arabs, Muslims, or anyone calling for the liberation of Palestine. As you see the barricades they set up around us, see how this is a strategy to suppress and silence, to isolate us from you, despite the fact that we are all current workers, former workers, and community members. As you see the police surrounding us,
Thank you so much.
know that Microsoft brought them here. Know that Microsoft is not only okay with deploying violence against its current and former workers, but that Microsoft called on them and relies on the police force to carry out the physical suppression for them. To all my fellow Microsoft workers here right now, our labor is directly enabling apartheid, powering genocide through tech weapons in the form of cloud and AI, and abetting the starvation campaign in Gaza. It is our ultimate responsibility to put people over profits. However, in order for that to happen, we must reclaim the power of our labor by speaking up and rejecting this immoral and illegal complicity right now. You do not have to accept being party to the crime of genocide. You do not have to be part of this system. You do not have to comply. Join us in answering Gaza's call to action. Join us in honoring the countless lives of Palestinians who are victims of a Microsoft-powered genocide. Join us in refusing to have our labor enable and accelerate the massacring of millions of Palestinians through bombardment, torture, and starvation. Join us in confronting the same executives who continue to destabilize our livelihoods with mass layoffs while generating massive profits. Before you ask yourself the cost of speaking up, ask about the cost of not speaking up. Ask yourself about the cost of our silence. Every moment that passes, the Israeli genocidal machine is using Microsoft technology to continue starving and bombing Palestinians in Gaza. Every second we do not act, Israel is using our labor to displace Palestinians in the West Bank in an ongoing campaign of ethnic cleansing and apartheid. We must meet the urgency of this moment. Let us force an end to this Microsoft-powered genocide right now!
Okay, my name is Julius Sean, and I would like to be identified as a software engineer at Microsoft and activist. Right now, we're on Microsoft's former East Campus Plaza, which is now the Liberated Zone or the Martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza. Today, we set up an encampment after yesterday's encampment, and we wanted this as an escalatory action in pressuring Microsoft to end all contracts with Israel.